Today we have a 2003 Toyota Camry here in the shop. We already have the removal video for the car stereo. That can be found on our website, carstereohelp.com, along with any repair questions you might have for speakers or the stereo or the 6 CD changer. Normally this car has the JBL system, but I don't believe this one has it. The JBL amplifier is located up underneath the dash behind the glove box. But we're going to show you how to take the door panel off to get access to the speaker. We're going to start with our small pry bar, and at the very front top of the panel here there's a little cover, and we're going to pry this cover from the car. Actually, it's a clip. I'm going to try and remove that clip. And it's just a cover that snaps on, and there will be a Phillips screw here that needs to be removed. We're going to remove this screw at the leading edge of the door panel. There are also two more screws along the bottom here. One at the center of the door panel at the bottom, and one towards the back. We'll remove both these screws. Go back to our pry bar and open up the door handle, and there's a little panel here that's going to pop right off from inside the door panel, or the handhold area. This will give access to another screw here. I'm going to remove this screw. Now again, with our pry bar, we're going to remove this plastic insert that sits at the bottom of the handhold here on the door, and this insert will come out, and this will also give access to another screw here. We're going to remove this screw. And next we're going to take our pry bar and come up to the little triangular panel on the front here and try and pry this panel from the door. It should unsnap. It just clips onto the screws here with little holes, so this should come right off. We'll take that out of the way. Next, with this screw removed out of the handhold, this will allow us to pick up the back of the control panel, lift it up out of the door, and this will give us access to the connectors. These connectors all have triggers on them. At the front there's this little trigger I'm going to push down, and it releases the lock on it. Same for this front connector as well. This one has a trigger on the side of it that we're going to push in and wiggle this connector loose. And this is a little bit of a tough one. Tool to push down on that trigger because it gets a better grip on it than I can get with my thumb on that one. Here we go. That removes the connector. And the connector has a sleeve on it. It gets pushed into spot, and then the sleeve around it will push back in and lock the connector into place. We're going to push these back into the door so they're not in our way. Now with the control panel removed, this is going to give access to one more screw back here that we're going to remove. This is probably the largest screw on the door panel. I'm going to remove this screw. Next, with our pry bar, we're going to start at the front leading edge and pry against the panel which removed from the door panel. There are clips all around the edges of the panel, and then it'll lift up out of the door sill, but we need to release these clips along the edges. Ooh. And we can see that the panel is now moving freely. So now that we've got it back, I'm going to hold the sides and push up with my knee to take it up out of the door jamb there, and that brings it back from the door. That loosens the panel, but we still have the linkage on the back of the door here that needs to be released. Now looking at the back of the panel, we have our two cables coming up. One's white, one's green. The white is the door lock, while the green is the door handle. And what we're going to do is we're going to grasp the back half of this plastic piece that comes out, and we're just going to pull it straight towards the camera here, and it brings it up out of a little notch that's here. This is going to allow us to bring the cable around and lift the little ball on the end out of a slot that's here. We're going to do the same for the green cable, and once it gets loose from its little slot, it's able to move around, and you pull the ball up out of the little hole on that one too. Now we can remove this door panel. Now with the door panel removed and the two cables, the connector for this speaker, this sits right up here at the top, and there's a little trigger at the very back edge of it here that we're going to push in towards the center of the connector, and that will release the push it in with a screwdriver, and that will release the connector right out. Now there are 4 screws that hold this speaker in place, that hold the entire mount with this factory speaker, or there are 4 screws that hold just the speaker in place. When going to aftermarket, one of the main things to be concerned with, of course, is phasing, which is positive and negative, and tracing that through to keep the positive and negative at each speaker going the right directions. Reversing one of the speaker leads can cause no bass through the whole car. But it's removing the 4 speakers, and watch any aftermarket speaker, the depth of the magnet, so that you can still roll the window up and down. Hope this video has been helpful. See our other removal videos. We have the rear speakers as well online for this car, as well as the car stereo and many other removal instructions. And we do repair this stereo quite often. Hope this video has been helpful. Thank you for watching.